Well, hey, my friend. Welcome to Bloggers on Fire, the go-to podcast for bloggers who want to grow and monetize their blog. I'm so excited you're here. I'm your host, Melanie Ferguson. Well, hey, welcome back to the podcast, my friend. This week, I wanted to chat a little bit about something that's been happening strangely across social media platforms. I don't know about you, but I have noticed tons of followers being erased from my platforms. So over on Instagram, it has been just like a sieve. The follower count has gone down. It'll go up for like a day and then it goes back down. So that is usually normal, but this has been a little more than typical. And over on Facebook, I'm telling you, I've been losing hundreds of followers a day. Now, they say that they are just working to clean out bots and fake accounts, but I have to tell you, it's concerning. I mean, over the last, I would say, 2.5, maybe 3 weeks of this recording, I have lost over 3,000 followers on my Facebook alone. So I just wanted to bring attention to that. If you haven't noticed, kind of go take a peek and see what's maybe going on if you have those platforms. But this kind of disturbed me to the point where I was a little frantic and was like, I've got to get my people off these platforms. It doesn't mean they're not going to be on those platforms, but I need them to associate me with somewhere else. That is the goal. So if your people only associate you with TikTok or only associate you with YouTube, I highly recommend you change that, my friend. I've always preached that you should make your blog your center place where everybody knows to go to find your most current information and content. In fact, I have something I want to share with you. Well, hey there. Have you ever wanted to start a blog? Maybe you didn't even know you needed to start a blog. That was me back in 2018. You see, I had grown an audience over on Facebook of over 100,000 followers, but I had very little and to show for it. So I heard about this thing called blogging, and it completely changed my life. If you are sitting where I was, or maybe you even have a blog, but it's just not creating the kind of income that you wanted it to, I have great news for you. I am sharing with you my journey along with all of the shortcuts and tips that you'll need to get your blog up and running so that you can be profitable. So if this sounds like exactly what you need, just head over to creativesonfirepodcast.com/start and get started today. Okay, so if you do already have a blog, I would still recommend that course because there's some little things in there that I wish I would have known when I got started that would maybe really help you out. So, when it comes to bringing our audience off of the social platforms somewhere else, I've got 5 different ways that you can own your audience off of social. And I'm just going to start with the most obvious one. I know that you've heard this a million times, but it cannot be expressed enough because I feel like there's some of you who still have not made this happen. And it is just simply email. Email is one of the key ways that I communicate with my followers every single week. A couple times a week. You can decide what your cadence will be if you're going to email people once a week, every day, whatever that looks like for you. But I would just highly recommend that you create just a free opt in. Some of my opt ins are just simply, hey, if you want the latest, it's not even something special or fancy. So just put that in place today, my friend, and get your people over there. Share that email subscribe link up in your stories and also in your posts on social media at least a few times a week. Listen, they will not get sick of it, I promise you. And you're doing them a favor because they want to hear from you. That's why they're following you. They want to hear from you. And the best way for them to do that is through your email. And I recommend Flowdesk or ConvertKit. I'll put some links in the show notes for both of those. I do use actually both of them, and we can go into that on another episode, but definitely email is one of the best ways. The second idea is to have a forum. So these have become really popular lately where your community can go in there and start kind of talking to one another. And that is probably the number one way to grow an audience is where they communicate with each other. It's not always one to many. It's not just you broadcasting to all of them. They get to know, like, and trust each other, and they appreciate the fact that they were brought together by you. And so, creating a forum over on your blog, you can use some tools, just Google it, but there's Simple Press. These are at a cost. There's Simple Press and there's Discourse. That is another one. I have kind of shied away from doing the forums on my blog because I know that sometimes they can be, I don't know, glitchy or heavy for your site. And just with my blog goals, I have not wanted to actually put that on my blog. But I've seen some people be super successful with adding these separate, like not to your blog, just a standalone forum where you can share a link for people to join, and it creates like a little chat, and they can chat back and forth, and you can drop your content, you can drop your links and your opinions on the daily if you choose. And some people have actually even put a pricing gate in front of it where you charge to be a part of the forum. Now, that kind of defeats the idea of getting your people off of social media. For me, I want as many people off of it and affiliated with me somewhere else as possible. So the charging probably wouldn't work for my goals. Now, the third idea is texting. This has been around for a while. I know it was super popular when the company Community came out with their texting service, and then they went up in price. And I know a ton of people had to, including myself, get off of that platform. It just was not cost efficient. It didn't make sense anymore. And with the volume of texting clients that I had, so keep that in mind. You want to make sure that whatever you go with is something that you can grow with. Hey, that rhymed. Whatever you go with is something you can grow with. So, that being said, the texting didn't work for me, which brings the next one, which is Telegram. So, this was the solution that I found that was an alternative to some of the more pricier texting services. And it's called Telegram. It's a free app and people can download it, and you have all of the same opportunities to communicate with them through text. You can send them a text alert. You can put your content in there. You can share videos. You can share images. You can allow them to share their videos and images. It's just a really great, robust solution to being able to communicate with your audience off of social media platforms. So you might want to consider checking out Telegram and setting up a free account and starting to collect your people there. Now, the last solution is my latest one, and I'm super uber excited about it. That's why I'm sharing it here on the podcast today. And again, if you're interested, I will be putting all of the links to all of these ideas in the show notes for you. But this one is called Mighty Networks. It's been around a little bit, but it is just gaining in popularity. And basically, you can collect an audience there for free, but you can also share gate priced gates with you can also share things within the community that have pricing gates in front of them. So you can create courses inside of it. You can share just a link to your course outside of that platform. If you have it over somewhere else like Teachable or Thrivecart like me, you can also share live streaming inside of a Mighty Network. You can share a forum. So you have a way to chat. You have a feed. It looks just like social media. I'm not kidding. It's pretty amazing. I want to actually invite you to come and come and join my Mighty Network today. It is free for you. You can kind of just sleuth and sneak and peek at everything that I have in there just to kind of give you some inspiration. So you can join me over there at southerncrushathome.com/circle, and that will be the easiest way for you to check it out. But I'm telling you, it is super robust. I can text message my audience. I can also share, I have daily reasons for them to come back to the community every single day. It creates these really fun little profile picture bubbles of every single person, and they can create their own profiles and chit chat between each other. It is so awesome. And so I'm just going to say that it is I feel like in your best interest to do your due diligence and come up with the best place to funnel all of your people off of social media. Because at the end of the day, we all know that we do not own the platforms that we spend so much time contributing to. And we have so much wrapped up in our own personal futures and our own personal bank accounts with these social platforms. And it is just I've seen so many people of my friends get devastated because their accounts were taken overnight, and all of those years of posting and hard work and creativity are gone in an instant. And I'm just telling you, my friend, mark my words, I want you to strongly consider choosing a place to bring your people off of social media. And that is something that you can share every single week in your stories, at the end of every single post as a call to action, just the one place that you want them to go so that you can know that you will always be able to communicate with them. You will always be able to sell them your products. You will always be able to serve them at the highest level and not have to worry about the pesky algorithms, the bots, and all of the trolls and things that you have going on over on social media. So I hope you found this episode helpful. If so, be sure to always come back over to the blog and let me know in the comments. I appreciate you, my friend, and I'll see you next week. Thank you so much, my friend, for tuning in each and every week. If you learned something new or were inspired from today's episode, I would be incredibly grateful if you would take a minute and just leave a review. Bonus points if you share this episode by screenshotting it and tagging me on social at Creatives on Fire Podcast. I'll share you in my stories when you do. In the meantime, keep rocking your business, and don't forget, no one else will ever be you, and that is your creative superpower.